Do you plan on giving up porn for No Porn November? Well, then you're in the right place. You need to watch this video because giving up porn is not the easiest thing in the world. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. Welcome back to Porn Brain Rewire, the podcast, where I'm your hostess with the mostest. And today, what we're going to do is we are going to get prepared for No Porn November. Yes, it necessitates getting prepared. That's our goal today. So here's what we're going to do. Number one, we're going to talk about why it's so difficult to give up pornography, what it's doing to your brain, and how that's playing out in your behaviors. We're going to connect the dots. Then what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the benefits of giving up porn so you know what you can look forward to. Because you might be thinking, all right, this isn't going to be that difficult. I'll give it up. But I want you to know the why. We know the power of why is really, really, really important. And number three is your brain hack strategy for the day. You're going to want to get your journal out. You're going to want to think about this. I'm going to plant the seeds on what you can think about, but please create some time so that you can think about it to get prepared. Be prepared. That's where we're going. So let's dive in. But before we do, I just want to remind you, this podcast is part of the outreach program for my nonprofit organization, pornbrainprevention.org. If you are feeling inspired to donate so we can put together educational programs to help young people, children and young adults, and their parents to be able to learn about the dangers of porn so they can stop before they ever get started so we can avoid the porn brain rewire process. We're going upstream to help the little ones never get involved, which we know it's probably one of the most cataclysmic things that's happening in society today. So I would appreciate your help if you're inspired. Okay, let's dive in. Why is it so difficult to give up porn? So it is so difficult because when you were young and you found porn, it became your one tool or one of just a few tools in your toolbox to go to when it was time to regulate your mood, offset stress, offset boredom. So you learned a long, long time ago that if you want to feel good fast, going to porn and masturbation was the way to do it. But I'm sorry, my friend, this November, you have to grow out of those teenage habits. They're teenage habits. And likely you're not a teenager anymore. So many people stay caught in this loop for so long because it is the way that they've learned to regulate themselves. So at the core of a compulsive porn habit is the need to regulate your nervous system. We know scientifically brain dysregulation or dysfunction is at the core. It's way far down under the surface. There basically is a crack, like the silent tsunami. There's a crack in healthier optimal brain performance. And that crack is leading you back to more porn to offset stress and boredom. Unfortunately, it's causing you more stress and boredom at the same time. So just to give you the one-liner on how it works, every time you go to porn and masturbation, you're hitting the easy button. Instant gratification. You get a flood of dopamine into your system to make you feel good fast. It shifts your brain into neutral very quickly so you can escape. You don't have to think about your life. You don't have to think about your bills and your kids and your cars that need to be inspected and all those things. Yes, my cars do need to be inspected. All those things that are running in your background that you don't want to have to think about. You don't want them popping into your mind anymore. It's really easy. When you go to porn, it shifts you out of think mode into neutral mode. Unfortunately, what it does is, first of all, it keeps you going back for more and more and more. Secondarily, what it does is it drains your brain and it can keep you stuck in artificial neutral. So let's talk about what happens in your state, in your being, if your brain is constantly shifting back and forth from wired and tired into neutral. That keeps you caught in the loop. But what happens is when you're outside of your porn and masturbation habit, your brain is stuck in wired and tired. So let me ask you this. Do you feel stressed regularly? Do you feel tired and overwhelmed regularly? Do you notice that you're sluggish in the middle of the day? Do you feel angry and irritable? If somebody says something to you, do you snap at them? These are all signs of brain dysregulation. Those are emotional dysregulation symptoms of brain dysregulation. So I was going to tell you something, but instead of telling you the thing I was going to tell you, I want to remind you that I'm making daily shorts of a pain point that comes along with porn and a brain hack strategy to overcome it. I was about to tell you one of them. Instead of me telling you, put an alert or subscribe. Better yet, subscribe to the channel on YouTube so that you can get the alert for the daily No Vice November is what we're calling it. That's the way it'll come up. Daily shorts. So you have one strategy every single day that you can implement, including the one that was just up here. So the idea is you're going to porn to feel better emotionally, but when you're outside of it, it's creating emotional dysregulation because your brain needs a lot of dopamine to feel okay. When it doesn't get a lot of dopamine, it feels bad, stressed, or bored. So now you're at your kid's birthday party, you don't want to be there. But without porn, you probably would want to be there. So that's the difference. And we'll get there in a second. So let's focus on what symptoms you might be experiencing right now. Anxiety, depression, difficulty with your get up and go. That might look like procrastination or difficulty getting organized to be able to implement projects. Your work may have become lackluster because now there's not enough dopamine there. Without porn, there would be more dopamine there because porn and masturbation, level 15 dopamine. Work on a good day is probably like a level 5, which is healthy, but it can't compare to level 15. Same thing with your relationships. So we know a number one symptom of a porn compulsion, habit, or addiction, whatever you want to call it, is relationship dissatisfaction. You might look at your partner and you may be less satisfied. You might think about your sex life and think how yours pales in comparison to the porn and masturbation that you're involved in. I want to remind you, it has to pale in comparison because it's not a level 15. A healthy sex life really can never be a level 15 super normal stimulus. So now you have this comparison, but it is what it is. It's actually healthy for you to get back to healthy sexuality and leave too much sexuality behind. You may have strained relationships with your children. We know that your tolerance for being able to handle things goes down because you need a lot of dopamine to feel good. So if you have a stressful situation, there's no dopamine there, only cortisol, the hormone for stress. And now it's difficult to deal with that. So you might go 0 to 60 quickly, anger, irritability. The number one physical symptom that comes out of porn brain is erectile dysfunction or sexual arousal dysfunction, which sexual arousal dysfunction, what I call SAD, it might be that you can get aroused with porn and masturbation, but now it's time to be with your partner and you can't. That is part of drained brain, part of artificially shifting yourself into neutral too much. You get stuck in neutral, now you can't perform at all. So these are the day-to-day difficulties that people who are still wrapped up in a porn habit suffer from and struggle with. I don't want you to struggle and suffer anymore. That's why I'm here. I know the struggle and the suffering. I know how it impacts you on a minute-to-minute basis, and I know it impacts everybody around you, whether you know it or not. I forgot to mention self-awareness is very low when you're wrapped up in a porn habit, especially with any level of intensity. So I don't want that for you. This is what I want. Now let's go to number 2. When you regulate your brain and you're able to get a handle on your porn habit, what can you look forward to? Number 1, you can look forward to calm, focused peace. My goal for you is I want you to feel peaceful on the inside. Even if the building is crumbling around you, you can maintain peace. If you've never done that, it is such a gift. And I want you to have that gift that there can be terrible things happening to you or the people that you love or the people around you. You can stay in peace knowing it's part of the human experience and you will make it through it. When you have a regulated brain, you understand the impermanence of everything. When you're wrapped up in a porn habit, you just see things as locked in. That's the difference between neurorigidity and neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is our brain's ability to be flexible and to learn and to change and to improve. It inherently requires impermanence, meaning it's always changing. It's always, you're never the same person. We know, even cellularly and biologically, every moment you're becoming a different person. So, especially throughout November, we want this transformation to be stark. We want you to see what you were like on November 1st and feel the difference on November 30th, because then you'll know, wow, this is about embracing the flow and the impermanence and knowing that you're never going to be the same ever, ever, ever again, that it's a part of evolution. On November 30th, the main goal is you've seen at least little sparkles of calm, focused peace that you want more and more and more of. And as your brain shifts, generally speaking, it's not like flipping a switch. Instead, it's a subtle shift over the 30 days. If you're implementing the daily strategies that I give you in the daily shorts, every day you have something new to do, which you set the goal, but now you have the what you're going to do, how you're going to accomplish this day to day to day. And it has to do with unwiring your brain from the screen, rewiring it back into your life so you get dopamine from work. You get dopamine from your people, from your healthy sex life, from your hobbies. But ultimately, eventually, you won't need as much dopamine as you need now, because we know that when you have a porn habit, it really is about a dopamine dependency. So when you move through this journey, you will have stronger focus. You will feel calm on the inside. Your work will start to mean more to you again. You'll feel more on purpose. You'll have new creative thoughts. You can't have creative thoughts if you're filling your brain with, first of all, high levels of dopamine, and secondarily, the content that you're filling your brain with. Whatever you're watching in porn becomes the fantasy that your brain goes to. I don't need to tell you that. You already know that. You'll have the thoughts of getting back to those porn fantasies. But guess what? If you're not consuming them, your desire to consume it goes down. You can just liken it to going on a diet with food. If every single day you eat 4 pieces of chocolate cake at dinner, you eat dinner and then you have 4 pieces of chocolate cake for dessert, every day after dinner, habitually, you will want 4 pieces of chocolate cake. But when you go, no way, man, I'm not eating chocolate cake after dinner tonight, for 30 days throughout November, guess what? By 30 days later, your brain doesn't need the chocolate cake anymore. It's gotten used to not eating chocolate cake. But I am going to give you strategies throughout November, because having one of those little dark chocolate squares with sea salt, that can go a long way as a habit replacement. So we're not talking about just committing to this and going, up 30 days later, I'm going to be amazing. There's lots of strategies to employ, but you can look better to feeling better, physically feeling better. Your arousal should be coming back online. There's so much to look forward to. All the people I work with, they are blown away at how much better they feel when they break the porn loop. That's what you can look forward to. Okay, number 3. How are we going to get you there? Well, I already told you daily shorts throughout November, but here's the dealio. It's time to get prepared, my friend. I've been getting prepared, so I've made 5 videos, prep mode, getting ready for No Vice November. If you haven't seen them, go watch those 5 videos, because they're going to create a perspective shift, which is absolutely necessary, but it's also going to hopefully motivate you to pragmatically get ready. It is time to get prepared. And in those videos, I give you very specific steps on how to do so. But here I'm going to give you the quick one-liner on it. It's imperative that you become aware of your habits, like the chocolate cake after dinner, and you put a habit replacement in place where your porn and masturbation habit has lived for so long. So remembering the first thing I said to you is that this is a habit you've had for a really long time. Habits die hard. They really do. Never mind that this is actually a full-blown addiction. Addictions do not go quietly into the night. They need to be pushed away. So getting prepared for it means, what are you going to do instead? Recognize you are becoming a different person every day. So when you start on November 1st, on November 2nd, you are already different. You are not the same person day after day. You're the new and improved one who's gaining skills, changing your brain performance pattern, and gaining a new perspective. you on November 30th will be completely different than you on November 1st. So that guy doesn't have to show up every day. You only have to show up as the new version of yourself day by day, but you have to get ready. So here's the new Fitbit I bought. If you've been listening to me on this podcast for any amount of time, you will remember that my Apple Watch was controlling my life. So I got rid of it about 2 years ago, maybe even a little more, because it was driving me crazy. But then, of course, I started overworking and not getting the credit on my watch for my workouts and for my steps. Well, you'll be glad to know that this girl has gotten credit for workouts and steps since I put this baby on about 4 days ago. Now, I did it because I am preparing to make sure I do these habits every single day throughout November so I can reestablish the habits that I had. Now, again, if you've been with me on this podcast for a long time, you'll know that I was really sick for a long time. So it was difficult for me to be able to go for the runs and to crush the workouts. I've always worked out. I haven't stopped. The habit of doing it to the level that I want to, that kind of decreased. So I'm back. I am back, and I'm going to use this Fitbit that I just got to be able to do so. So get prepared. Think about where the holes are in your schedule. What do you need to be able to succeed? So I've also thought, okay, my evening routines, I need a way to chill out and to bring the energy down, because I told you I'm not rushing. Or if you've listened to the 5 videos, my vices I'm giving up: no rushing, no drinking. And what I did tell you in the other videos is it's a lot easier to do something a little than to not do it at all. I said to my husband, you want to join me for No Vice November? He's so funny, which he does not watch porn, by the way. So it's not about porn. It's about his other vices, which we all have. So he said something like, I've been working on giving up my vices for 40 years. What makes you think November is going to be any different? Which cracks me up, because that's what we're all thinking, right? What's going to be different is committing to it, having strategies, having the goal, and making yourself do it. That's what's different. So ultimately, he said he's in. He's in for No Vice November. But I will tell you, last night he said to me, he goes, you know what? I've been doing pretty fine for the last 40 years. I think I might ride this thing out, is what he said. But you know what? He's full of it too, because he's constantly working on being a better version of himself too. So he's down for No Vice November, but it takes a plan, and start thinking about it now. Here's the number one things to think about. What new habits do you want to, or do you need to put in place so that you can succeed in the moments of most difficulty for you? That's the number one thing that you can do right now, making sure that you do show up and watch the daily shorts. Be prepared. Get prepared right now. So if Sundays when your family leaves is the time you're most at risk, you need a Sunday plan, my friend, and you should likely get out of the house and go do something that you like to do that you haven't done in a long time. And if you want to get back on the horse of running, get yourself one of these and get running. I showed you in the other videos that I got new running sneakers too, because mine were completely beat. So I needed them if I was going to get out there and hit the pavement, and I got them. I'm ready to roll. I also got myself a guitar, just a beginner one, which I will show you videos of on Instagram if you follow me over there. I'm getting ready. I'm dead serious about this. And so in terms of, I'm not drinking. There's no alcohol in our house. There's going to be no alcohol here, so I don't even have to worry about it. So now I won't be able to touch the vice, but I also have the new habits that'll be sitting there. I put the guitar in the living room, and my son actually said, it's a good idea that you leave it there because other people will pick it up too. And I said, I know. And then this way we can have a little bit of fun with it. So get prepared. Right now, think about, where are the holes to get started? Where are the holes? What habits, what routines need to be broken down and avoided? And then what are you going to do instead? Make sure you join me for the daily shorts every day. I'm going to give you a new strategy, a quick one, obviously, if it's a short, and you'll be able to implement it, and we can rock this out. But remember, you don't have to struggle through it because you're changing every single day. If you do something different today, you are a different person tomorrow. But doing the different thing is the difficult part. I'm going to give you the different thing to do, so every single day you can change. This is a personal transformation journey, becoming the person that you want to by giving up the things that are no longer serving you, Porn is absolutely keeping you from your full potential. And now is the time. So let's rock this thing out together. All right. If you want the comprehensive program to make sure you make it through No Porn November, glowing and shining with results, then please go over to drtrishleigh.com, join Porn Free Brain Forever. You can use the coupon code for the month, Trish100. It'll get you $100 off of that program. You can join that program and you'll have all the strategies that you need: unwire, rewire, hardwire, monthly meeting with me to keep you accountable, and you can stay in that program for life. It is lifetime access. Of course, I don't want you to need it, but there's the monthly meeting you can come to for accountability, and we measure results in that program. If you work it, you will succeed. All right, until next time, control your brain or it'll control you.